All right, so let's just do one more creepy guy with his past remarks. I think people are aware that Matt Walsh was basically saying that, like, what his argument was that women are fertile when they're 16, and that was the only.
How we did it for a long time.
And the only problem with the problem with 16-year-olds having children is not that there's a problem with them being impregnated at age 16 or having children. It's that they're unmarried. And I imagine that when 16-year-olds got married, there was probably an instance, maybe two, of the person they got married to being 16. But I think it's far more likely, in fact, I know it is far more likely, and I'm talking definitionally in terms of like sheer numbers, that a 16-year-old would get married to a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old or a 40-year-old or a 45-year-old or a 50-year-old. And
that's how it's always been done.
And this is the way it was done in ancient times, and still done in many fundamentalist religious communities.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit, like that's the Roy Moore thing, is he was just a little bit behind the times on some of his...
He's a traditionalist.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's a traditionalist.
Yes, and this is, and all of that is also about, it is completely inseparable from the notion that these 16-year-olds are your chattel, and they're there to produce other chattel for you on your behalf when you're a man. And it is almost laughable to call it the patriarchy, because it is so, like, such a parody of the patriarchy to espouse this. Now, Matt Walsh is a religious fundamentalist. And so my guess is he owns this. And if anything, the only thing that he's backing off of is his public desire to say it really should also be 15-year-olds. Here he is.
So here's my official answer, for the record. Kiss my ass. I do not apologize. In fact, by all rights, you sick freaks should be the ones apologizing to me for lying and defaming me, and doing it all because I'm trying to prevent you from sexually mutilating children. You damned monsters. You child-abusing psychopaths. I wouldn't apologize to you soulless parasites if I had a gun to my head. Instead, I'd rather just tell you all to piss off. I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing. I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob of degenerate morons. You know, the secret they never say out loud is that nobody is truly canceled unless they consent to it and they willingly play their assigned roles. Well, I do not consent, and I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going anywhere.
He also does not believe that the consent is necessary for minors, apparently, when it comes from, to marriage and impregnation, because he just believes it's really a function of fertility. Mm-hmm. Is really what determines whether a young woman or a girl should get pregnant. And of course he's not going to apologize. Why would he? His entire business model is to appeal to fundamentalists who have no problem with the idea of 16-year-olds marrying 35-year-olds or 40-year-olds or 45-year-olds or 50-year-olds. He does not have a problem with that whatsoever, because it maintains the hierarchy that he believes should exist. Mm-hmm. And when he says stuff like sexually mutilating somebody, like, is it sexual? Like, the idea that, like, the breasts which presumably he's talking about, right?
Well,
talking about tops.
When they say sexual mutilation, what they mean to imply is that there's bottom surgery going on for like children too. Like they because if they just said top surgery, it would have less of an impact.
Well, because like I've said in the past, I knew girls in junior high who had top surgery because they wanted to diminish the size of their breasts. And he's not talking about a problem with breast augmentation, which is also, presumably to him, sexual, what did he call it? Like
Mutilation.
Mutilation. It's just absurd. And he is just trying to justify his transphobia, his homophobia, and his misogyny.
That's what it is. It is misogyny, and the in addition to the power structures that he's trying to uphold, the real wrinkle here is that the reason conservatives like him can have be supportive of child marriage, essentially, when girls are sexually able to reproduce, cis girls, that it's fine for them to get married, and then also say that the left is full of child sexual predators because we believe trans people exist, is because he wants anyone who is biologically born with female sex organs to be the chattel of men and who are unable to make determinations about their gender or what they want to do with their life, because they have to be beholden to their biological need, in his estimation, to procreate. Like, you are just there for that purpose, whether it be if you're young, well, hey, you've gotten your period already, time to get to it. And if you're a trans man, hey, well, you've got to ascribe to what I believe should be the case, and you should just be producing children. Why would you want to live your life as a trans man? And so that's all what it comes down to.
I'm only talking about sex with 16-year-olds because you people want to mutilate. Like, well, actually, don't want to mutilate people. So
yeah,
why are you talking about sex with 16-year-olds?
And really,
and that happened in 2011. When he was talking about that.
And let's be clear who he's talking about. He's talking about the parents of these children. There is no one under the age of 18 who can go and get this surgery without the parents consenting. It's not happening. It's not happening at all. So he's really attacking the parents.
Parental rights.
I mean, this is really, honestly, like, this is the tact. If there was a mechanism in which to fight this, because of course it's shadow boxing, right? Because there's nothing like, the children's hospital that is getting bomb threats because of this guy doesn't have the means in which to start an entire media ecosystem to push back with some type of coordinated message. I mean, that's the advantage they have, right? Is they pick and, there is no mechanism to push back in some of these cultural wars where the messaging is designed to undercut their message. They'd argue like, well, this is already, you have that, it's Hollywood. But Hollywood's not like trying to fight an ideological battle. This is simply accepting people where they are. There's no film that's like, well, it's a story, forget the story. The message is that we should allow kids to transition. And they're like, okay, $25 million. That doesn't happen.
Well, that's almost McCarthyite tropes, right? Saying that Hollywood has this kind of secret agenda.
That's what their argument is.
Yeah.
That's what their argument is. Totally.
Yeah, and also we're not really trying to cancel Matt Walsh. We're just adding, evidence to the pile. A pile that already includes him defending Josh Duggar, the abuser from this family. Remember this giant reality TV family? Matt Walsh said that he committed only sins, not crimes. So that's the type of guy Matt Walsh is. And we know, it's funny you say freak because it's mutual, buddy.
Yeah. Might be projection on your end.